Hi, I'm Breandax.
And I'm T.
And we're going to listen to some music.
We're listening to What a Devastating Turn of Events by Rachel Chinouriri. I have listened to this album, songs from this album, in every incarnation many times because I fell in love with this when I first heard it.
This is actually a bit of an origin story. So you came across Rachel before we thought about doing this as a podcast. And I'm pretty sure that her track Dumb Bitch Juice was one of the first couple of links that you ever sent to me about hey, I think you might like this. And I'm like, oh, I have no idea what this song is. And then I'd listen to it and then we'd talk about it. Fast forward a couple of months.
It comes full circle. Here we are.
Yeah, but I have to say that as much as I loved that track, I haven't sat down to listen to the album. I've heard obviously a few other songs from that album, but I haven't listened to the whole album, and definitely not as a body of work in order as well, which we, as I've learnt through the course of doing this show, can be very intentional and then just create a whole different dimension to the music compared to when you just listen to single tracks.
Well, let's remedy that on today's episode, because while I have heard this many times all the way through, it's been a hot minute, and I think it would be fun to re-jog some of those memories alongside you in this format. So let's kick right off with track 1, Garden of Eden. This was actually the first track that I ever heard from Rachel Chinouriri.
I think we should record that.
I overthink the things I said. No point in trying to prove yourself that there's no point in anything. Too young, but too old. Forever growing dumb to the bone. Oh, I question who you are from deep within.
Well, maybe I'm just trying to stay young.
The kids are throwing up in the garden.
The first thing for me when I heard this that drew me into Rachel Chinouriri was the instrumental and production palette. So many instruments, guitars in there, drums in there, electronic production is in there. Non-instrument, hard stops, background chattering, that kind of stuff is also in there. Just a very exciting song, I think.
I really felt like it was painting the scene or the world that we're in for this album. So the birds at the beginning of the song instantly placed me oddly enough in the suburbs somewhere.
House party, I was thinking.
Well, maybe because it's I grew up in a suburb of Sydney where you do get birds chirping outside the apartment block in local trees and things like that, because it's also then mixed in with some traffic noise or people passing on the street or kids at a local school and that kind of thing. I think maybe that's also a little bit preset from the album art as well, which is Rachel leaning on the banister of a classic suburban townhouse in a suburb of London or something like that. And then when we get into, I guess, the lyrics of what we're singing about here, growing old, growing young, or getting too old, too young, thinking about age, maybe this devastating turn of events, is it a coming of age thing? Is it about transitioning from one part of life into another? Maybe is that where this album is going to go? I think a lot of the images that she painted in the lyrics there, really, again, it could be so relatable. I love that line, kids throwing up in the garden, I'm yeah, we've all, well, not all of us, but
I have not thrown up in
many
a garden.
people. Well, I have also not thrown up in a garden. I've been at parties where people did partake in such activities.
I love that we're also getting we're getting a bit of a disgruntled, now maybe hardened, apathetic, older point of view.
Now that I'm
looking at
older
these
and
youngins.
wiser and, 25, as I look back when I was a young
25 looking at the 23-year-olds,
Yeah.
like babies. I do like that we get that kind of apathy in the lyrics, but we still get a lot of movement in the song.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like we're down in the dumps. I feel like we're, noticing things, we're maybe leaving breadcrumbs to things that appear later in the album, but it's still a fun song. Let's move on to track 2, The Hills.
Why I'm devastated, broken, and I'm gone with the wind.
I love that grungy guitar.
Pulling the skin where you don't belong. The hill I know. If you ever noticed that your house don't feel like pulling the skin off my leg, the hills will know my weakness. When you don't belong.
If you just heard those 2 tracks, you would be forgiven for thinking Rachel Chinouriri is the greatest up-and-coming grunge artist of 2024.
How delicious are those guitars? Like all the guitars. Like it's going beyond my knowledge of I don't know, the 3 guitar types that I do know.
Electric, acoustic, and bass.
Just the texture of what is it called? It's there's a lot of strumming involved.
Power chords.
Yeah, okay, cool. In the pre-chorus, it really kicks in and it just feels so cathartic and I can feel my emotional teeth sinking into it. And it's just coming into the chorus then where instead of it leading into more of a rock feel, we then get into this big, wide open, full anthem feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just it just makes you want to sing along and belt it out. She's got obviously a higher register, a higher pitch voice and this breathy texture, which what I really appreciate is I can hear how it's a texture to it, but it's not from singing softly. She's got her breath control. It's been so impressive. But normally when we hear these kind of voices where they're very high and there's a purity to them or something like that, or got that breathy type texture, it gives maybe a smallness to it that feels very vulnerable and have a fragility to it. Rachel's voice has somehow, I don't know why, I can't put my finger in it, the complete opposite of that. Her voice actually feels so full.
I think part of it's also the way that she projects and the way that she goes into her vocal delivery and her lyricism and delivering the lyrics in a very intentional, confident way. So she'll do the sparkle of the higher register and she'll do the breathiness, but she'll go into a line this is my damn line and I'm going into it. And I feel that even if it doesn't give you the spectral, the audio frequency of a full body sound, it gives you the emotion.
Yeah.
Here, we're talking about the hills as kind of that ever-present thing that notices, your life and who you are and the things you're going through, talking about awkwardness, feeling like you're not fitting in, feeling out of place, feeling like the grass is greener, you need to go, you need to move out. And then maybe it's not all it's cut out to be, and maybe the grass isn't greener, but it wasn't great where you were either. This frustration about kind of not really knowing who you are, who you're supposed to be. How do I find this out?
For me, it just really continues establishing this world of hometown, and that we're telling these experiences from again of a growing up or coming of age story perhaps.
After the hills, we have Never Need Me. Who's me? What is never? And what really is need? Let's deconstruct the English language.
Ooh.
A cool in the dead of the night. Reveal the secret you think you need me. 'Cause if you can't change, I doubt that I can help you. We're there without you in my head. You can do what you like. Oh no.
The pullback.
I want you to hope that you never
Haha.
need me. Make it all right, no promise you take it easy. I hope that you're addicted to trouble you choose. I'm so what the hell am I supposed to do? Without you in my head, you can do what you like. Oh no, I can't.
It's the part in the concert where everyone puts their hands up.
Without you in my head, you can do what you like. Oh no, I can't.
It's the rise.
How can I say never need me? I hope that you never need me.
If that was in a concert, though, that would be like one of the last few songs.
Oh,
that she
yeah.
wrote.
It would be the encore, I think.
Yeah.
That was honestly one of my favorite songs of 2024. Just like year round. Like, what a fantastic track. What an earworm with substance.
The lyrics, I think, makes it just so fierce of a song, right? We've got this like whimsy, la 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 la, and this like fun little upbeat, chilling out guitar line going off, and just the nonchalance, I think, that the lyrics take to the subject. I'm going to assume romantic relationship.
It's
Right.
one of those romantic relationships
just
that
feel
turns
like-
into a parental situation because you feel like you're they're emotionally dependent on you. And maybe there are lingering feelings, maybe there aren't, but is it really worth it to keep this going? No.
And I think it's just like, it's the voice of like, just seeing it and being like, okay, all right, I'm moving on. I hope you have a good life. The way that it built up and then it pulled back and then, and then that final like fully pulling back, building up with the drums and then everything fully coming back in and just so well.
It's the anthemic
done.
pop starter pack, but Rachel takes the starter pack and she develops on it. Next song is My Everything.
But the problem is that you're for someone else.
Rachel, what are we doing?
That you were my skin and your skin. My mistake was I can't believe I gave you my every. You bury all your truth when you kiss me. My mistake, my everything, my everything,
The thickness. It's the slow jam of the album so far.
The rhythm on that was just so like the rhythm of the lyrics in that I just thought was so cool. And again, like just really delivering on like the emotion, on like the attitude of like what the lyrics are saying.
From a different, like, with a bit of a different mood, because in this one, like, she's really going through it.
Yeah.
She's gone through some shit, whereas before she was dishing some shit out. Now she's like, I can't believe both you, like, fuck you for, well, not necessarily fuck you. This is less of a fuck you track, and it was more of a, like, I can't believe I've done this kind of track. But, yeah, different vibe, but we still get that attitude. We still get that presence.
I really thought it was so clever and it made me smirk, smile, giggle. When I realized that the title was kind of like a pulled you in, like reeled you in. It's like actually, so because in the lyrics, it's like I can't believe I gave you my everything. But if I was expecting a bit of a love song because it's like my everything, you are my everything, you're my world. Like,
you write the love song and the person you wrote the love song about like fucks off, or like they say, hey, this is not really working out. You know, we're not great together. I think we should split apart. And you're just like, I wrote a fucking love song for you.
So now I need to rewrite it.
The project is still on my laptop. Fuck you. I also love that there's like an honesty that you get where she kind of, you're for someone else, but I'm still feeling shit. Like she's not, you know, feeling backstabbed. She's just more feeling like frustrated with the situation where she puts in so much and it just doesn't work out. Well, the next one is All I Ever Asked.
Oh, I know this one.
This is the one that played at Maya that one time. This has made it through the department store circuit of background music. For me, it has. I've heard it.
And if you're the problem or the pearl, adore me, but keep it all inside. Just a little more time. Was it really that hard to do?
There's a bit of throwback synth in there as well.
Ever asked of you? It was all I ever asked of you. You found a way to make it back yourself, and oh, I know you adore me, but it wasn't really that hard to do. It was all I ever asked of you.
She turns the mic to the audience. They repeat it.
All I ever asked of you. It was
So you just listened to Rachel Chinouriri with All I Ever Asked from her latest album in 2024. What a disturbing turn of events you're listening
What a
to.
devastating turn of events. Almost.
So I actually heard this song independent of you,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I think I recognize this voice. It was on the radio.
Recently?
Last
year?
Well, I don't own a car, but I was borrowing a car for a period of time, and that would have been sometime last 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was
Australian
just like,
radio, Rachel.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Triple J, national broadcaster. And yeah,
I've
I'm
heard
like,
this in
damn,
department
Rachel.
stores as well. So she's made that circuit. It's that mixed feeling where you're like, if I hear this too much in the wild, it's going to wear on me. But also good on you for making it into
is it though?
I've had experiences like that in the past.
Oh,
The band Fun, really into them. But the 700th time I heard, whoa, we are young. I like lost my mind.
I don't know. I reckon that her music's going to age really well. Like you give it 5-10 years and they'll still be bangers.
Yeah.
And it won't feel like, oh, it's from a certain decade or whatever. It'll feel just as good, you know?
Yeah, because
It won't start to feel retro or it'll feel, yeah.
It's using elements from time periods, but it's not derivative of like a single time period or a single trend or anything like that. Like you don't have like trap beat and like a whisper rap or whatever. You have like, you know, you've taken a little bit of the retro synth. You've got a little bit of the vocal hook. Then we get into the lyrics. And once again, like catchy, palatable song, but lyrical depth here. I'm getting that Rachel is conflicted. She's, you know, back and forth once again, just thinking about, you know, what's happening here. What I immediately thought of was this reminds me of anxiously attached plus avoidant attached person, like kind of butting heads and trying to make something work. All I ever asked was more time. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know where we stand.
Right. So the singer in this song is the anxious attached.
Yeah.
And they sing to the avoidant attached.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Maybe
I
not
see
so
that.
hard line, but elements of that.
Okay.
We see you. We see you, Rachel.
It is what it is, you know?
Which is the next track.
Oh.
Is he okay? Like, is he actually okay?
Is he actually okay?
So good.
It was nice to see you again. I know you won't text or anything. I know. Why did you kiss me, then call me, then say that you miss me, then you talk about chemistry?
Hey.
What the fuck does that mean? 'Cause you don't
Hey.
you know you're out about it. All the shit that came out, yo, is what it is a problem.
Great line.
So cool. Sorry, that's really loud.
Yeah, you're cool with this, but this is not cool with me. It's confusing. And what if I called you and asked you to kiss me, then text you and asked if you miss me, and Ed, you should have told me you had doubts about it. Me, you had doubts about it. All that shit that it is what it is.
What it is a problem.
Know that you are a lot better than that, and he does not fucking deserve you, and he never did deserve you.
So many banger lines in that track.
And I really like how a lot of the lines like got inverted. So
Yeah.
the wordplay was then like clever, but also I think quite easy as a listener to like you didn't have to think like decipher it too much.
It was clever, but it wasn't cryptic.
Yeah. And just the way that she like plays with the rhythm and like with syncopated beats and this like throw and catching kind of motion.
Yep.
I think just really like tied in so well to these like inverted phrases as well.
And the inverted phrases kind of gave me as well like, you're shit, but I'm kind of shit too when it comes to how we dealt with this relationship, situationship. Like it's very modern love. It's very messy. It's very like mixed messages. And the fact that, you know, we had that very clear, very descriptive passage and then we flipped it tells me that, you know, she doesn't feel like she's necessarily above this person, but is acknowledging that there's shit.
I could never do a spoken track like that.
You
And
need
I
to
just-
have like an energy.
My accents is just not interesting enough.
It's not rapping necessarily. It's not like a slam poetry type thing necessarily, but it's not raw spoken word. It's like very rhythmic.
Yeah, and it's not sing-song either. But
No. And then it goes into the sing-song really naturally.
actually, the music isn't of this style, but it was kind of like bitch track
Yeah.
energy where it's like, you know, someone telling this story in a very sort of like ambling, slightly rhythmic kind of way. And you know what? Like I know the next track that's coming up. And so this leading into it, like it's building on that energy because the next song is
Dumb Bitch Juice.
Oh, the guitars, man.
Funky, yeah.
Oh.
Little man, you're a little man, but I'm glad it's easy. Really easy. Of your flat in West Croydon and those roadman shoes. And I end up the one who needs healing, 'cause I've been here before, but I keep slipping on this dumb bitch shoes. Been used, emotional abuse is your mom, and she still thinks that you're an angel. Giving him the same excuse. He don't look this dumb bitch juice, this dumb bitch.
That was Rachel Chinouriri, DB. And I've guzzled that juice, mate. My gosh. Good luck and Godspeed to everybody in the struggle. Next up, we have
I love the little bits of like, we said it in the previous track, but like non-singing, like semi-diegetic, fully diegetic, spoken word, world sounds. Like it just adds to the world building. Like we've got the radio host here kind of like letting us zoom out a little bit from the direct POV of the singer. And I just think it does wonders for like putting you in a place and world building.
I'm really getting like the story that's unfolding before us is like the first like 2-ish tracks was really, I think, like establishing the world and the context, like the scene where this is all taking place. And I think that really then creates this really rich like base for us to then be following like Rachel's journey and as she's like been like reflecting, I guess, on these past experiences. Life ain't a fairy tale. It's complicated and we also make decisions.
When we're drinking that fucking dumb
DBJ.
bitch juice, yeah.
But there's just this incredible like self-awareness and insight and just the way that she's been like constructing the music. I love it when music and lyrics come together and they both individually are emoting and then combined together becomes such like a greater whole.
Yeah, we get like a real like funky bluesy kind of like instrumental palette. It's almost a
so
little bit
good.
Amy Winehouse.
The guitar had like, yeah, that funky bluesy vibe to it. And then the way she sung it was very like, it had so much like soul and body to it, which I think is then like what's giving that like Amy Winehouse energy. I can imagine what this DBJ tastes like. Like when I was in high school, you get high on sugar and shit like that, right? So it'd be like some mix of like Tropicana juice with like red cordial, and it's the school holidays, and you're just like eating way too many chips, and everything is just covered in salt and vinegar. You're just like, let's make a drink, and you just pour all of this random sweet, sticky stuff together. For some reason, I'm in a hall. Like a community hall. I don't know. It's room temperature. You ain't got no ice.
Oh no. I would call that a devastating turn of events, having gone through a bit of whole room temperature DBJ, which is also the name of the next track. What a devastating turn of events. Also, title of the album.
A recommendation from a friend of a friend. Took you hesitated, but you seen him before. He asked her out, I wish she'd known back then, the beginning to the end. FaceTime still 2 a.m. What a fascinating boy. She was lonely, couldn't tell anybody. She'd planned a wedding in her head. What a complicated view, far from the truth. Then hit morning sickness, and she knew it from then. She'd be crying out of wedlock, which her family despised. But life's unfair for women. Little did she know it'd be the day that she'd die in the kitchen. All she wanted was a lover, a friend. She's in me and she's in you.
That raw acoustic guitar in this song, first time we get it, I think.
What a story that we just went on in that track as well.
A story told in the third person for the first time.
Yeah. And almost like being told in the third person in a way that we can all like look at it and relate to different parts of the woman's journey and like what she had to experience and these, you know, events and consequences that fell upon her. Really driven home then with that lyric at the end, like, you know, she's in me, she's in you.
If we're following the imagery of like being from a town, a small city, you know, getting away from home, finding yourself, but still being surrounded by the same area, this gives me like something you hear about on the news or something. So it's not you directly necessarily, but it's emblematic of elements of where you are. So being able to relate to parts of it, it being told in the third person, I think gives me like, oh, did you hear about this thing? But then it's like when you really take time to process it, you see yourself in parts of it. Maybe not all of it, but different people would kind of associate with different parts of the story. And I think it was very intentional. But I could see a town where, you know, these factors are all at play. Maybe it's where Rachel grew up. Maybe she was born and moved out of it. I don't know. Next one is called My Blood. And I feel like you were correct to say this is a turn in the album, as is typical
Track
of
8.
about halfway through.
Yeah.
No, you never learned that this shit never worked. Call yourself names cause you pulled it all up. The longer I try to live it, it comes at a price I can't afford. Blood on the broken door. It's my blood that I do this for. I should close all the curtains, absorb in the burn, keep me in my bed. You can't more, I forgive the feeling. Oh no, this is the part that it's my blood in the makeup drawer. It's my blood, it's blood.
It's about a relationship with self, I think, and like mental health and potentially like not like feeling pain and things feeling very overwhelming, and then dealing with that in a very, very, or trying to deal with it and not maybe coping with that, and being in a very, very dark place. The chorus referring to like the different, like my blood on the broken door, on the makeup drawer. I don't know. It just paints me a bit of a picture of like maybe like self-harm, kind of like darkness, like depths of darkness.
If we take a step kind of more macro, the way that I see it is, very much talking about the self, talking about expectations versus what you see yourself as in the mirror when you introspect a lot, feeling inadequate, feeling unable to cope, feeling overwhelmed. What I also get though is where we have, it's my blood that I do this for, and then my precious blood towards the end. I get a bit of a, on the flip side, I get a bit of a, I feel the pain, I'm struggling through this, but this is my struggle and this is me. And like, I've been made to feel ashamed, but there's another side to this, and the things that I've, been put down for are my unique traits. And there's another way to look at this.
It's who you are. It's also blood, like bloodlines, like representative of like your heritage, your ancestry, and all of these things that are very inherent to our identity as well.
This next one's gonna at least instrumentally lift us up a little bit. So let's go into Robbed, track 10. There's that electric guitar again with the snappy pop.
It's closer than you realized. We strayed from parallel lives. Memories that don't exist. Words of a stone, nothing lasts forever. I was robbed of you. Unfamiliar face, blank silhouettes of you. We were perfect strangers, one life torn in two. You were robbed of some, I was robbed of you. Nothing lasts forever, but you were gone too soon. You were robbed of some, I was robbed of you. Sad to say goodbye before I said, but you were gone too soon.
Even just melodically, take away the lyricism, which, it's a big part of it. That melody, the melodic bass as well, we've got the guitar riff, but then the bass is there as well, like doing a smooth passage. This was one of my favorites from the album, like even on first listen.
I just love how much she's been doing with guitars and using them in different ways.
It's on the album art. She's holding a guitar. There you go.
Ah, there you go.
Don't know if she's a guitarist. Maybe she is.
Obviously the lyrics quite clearly painting this picture of like losing a love. So intentional lyricism. You were robbed of summer, I was robbed of you. Like, oh, what? Like, just
Funnily enough, so for the longest time, I misheard that lyric as you were robbed of someone. So I've got two different.
Like there was like almost a triangle or something.
No.
Like
I got, and I had to. I only recently like kind of developed another perspective. I thought this was about a chance encounter, like you see someone on the train or whatever, and you're like, damn, and then they're just like, okay. And then you're sitting there like longing and like thinking about like, oh, whatever, because like you're just someone to them and they're you to you anyway.
This story, they hit a little bit differently, those two different stories.
Yeah. And then now I'll give you what I'm getting now. I think this is hearkening back to something more akin to like a pregnancy that doesn't come to term or whatever, where like you develop an expectation and attachment, you have, all these plans, to them, the undeveloped fetus or whatever, you're not anything. Like, you don't. There's no emotional attachment, and this like imbalance and duality in like emotion. That's another interpretation that I came up with.
It's coming from a person who's like a realist or a pragmatist. Like it's a little bit like it is what it is, and not someone to sort of like cry over spilt milk, and can be quite accepting of the reality of like the fact of what has happened, which is not to say at all that there's no emotion behind it, but there's no denial in engaging with what has happened.
Next up is cold call. I haven't gotten a good cold call in a while.
I get them all the time.
I don't know why, but they've stopped with me.
Lucky. Dramatic.
Yeah. But that grunge back.
You bleed, I bled your heart, my head, my words on you. I care too much to stop it. A terrifying hemisphere, and can't take these cold calls anymore. I rolled my dice and paid the price reluctant. I now regret, cause obviously the odds worse, and life can be unfair anymore.
I wasn't expecting that intro, the guitar intro, and the way that it came out.
Very sudden.
Yeah, it was like, well, I mean, when it came, it's like, okay, cool. Like they came in and then there was a rest, and then they came in again, but then there was like that modulation, like that step
There was like
up.
a sweep.
Oh, I wasn't expecting like this drama. It was a bit of like a cinematic type drama.
And then we moved to Rachel's kind of softer lyrics,
Yeah.
softer vocal performance, comparatively to the guitars which just slammed in. It felt to me like what a cold call, like an emotionally charged cold call would feel like from like a very emotionally taxing friend or something, which is I think what we're talking about here. We're talking about a relationship where...
That makes so much more sense.
What did you think?
To me, cold call just means like telemarketer. And I'm like, no, there must be some kind of symbolism behind this. Unexpected calls that may be heavy, and a trauma dump and whatnot from friends and other associates.
Life's not fair. Like, we've all got burdens to bear. Things aren't great for everyone. But feeling frustrated that you're taking on the burden of being the trauma dumpee, and it's kind of your bad for offering that, and you're kind of just frustrated about the situation you're in, and it's really emotionally taxing on you.
Sometimes when you're so frustrated and exasperated, you're just like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you like take a second, like, okay, so now I'm back to reality. Oh, I need another one. And then you do another scream.
Yeah. But then because we live in an inner city area and there's like societal like etiquette and pressure on us, you're screaming into a pillow or something
And
like
then
that.
you get the letter from Strata that someone's complained about the well, homeowners association, HOAs, for you American folks. Just carrying on with the theme of the second half of this album. The next song is called I Hate Myself. I don't think it's going to get any lighter.
Getting all the wrong ideas, living in a with cigarettes and cocaine thrills. Why does it lunch sprayed on the bathroom floor? When you so small, the compliments and likes come more. They say looks king. I hate myself, I hate my skin. I hate myself. I'm the victim of my mind. Just remember for you, it's it's not okay for a man's opinion to cause pain. I love myself and I love my skin. I love myself. The victim of my mind.
It's almost like a love letter to anyone who's ever felt judged by others or felt unhappy and had like a negative relationship with body image.
And it doesn't shy away from the brutality of how that experience can be for people. Like the first half of the song was very vivid, very striking. It's clear that Rachel's been through this shit. And I love that we didn't shy away from the darker parts of it to really highlight the uplifting second half and the other perspective that you can take of what is in your control, right? Because we went from, what does society think? What does, a man think? What does, what do the likes say and the compliments? And took a turn to really focus in on, what feels unnatural to you, what feels like something your body should reject, what self-image do you want to uphold? When you really take that and prioritize that, one, you stop caring about the rest, but two, I think you exude just a more positive aura, right? And a lot of things start to kind of not fall into place, but like, you stop caring about the things you shouldn't care about.
At the beginning, we had like the guitar,
Yep.
right? And it was like plucking and strumming and things like that. But the way that I described, I don't know I'm sure there's a musical term for how they were doing what they did, but I wrote guitar through sepia toned wormhole. And it kind of felt like I'm on an episode of Doctor Who, maybe because Rachel is British and so is the Doctor.
Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's in the era where Riversong also exists. I don't know why. And they're like standing there and there's this force field wormhole thing in front of them. And there's like someone like a loved one on the other side, and they like need to reach them and then be safe and happy. There's this yearning of and it's trying to reach through. And so we're getting bits of it, but there's this barrier and there's a resistance. And so that's why it's coming through a bit like kaleidoscopically garbled in a way.
Is this like the pitch bend, the pitch modulation that we got in the first bit of the song, where it was like,
Yeah, that sounds like a musical term that
Okay.
describes
because
what
it was the
happening.
plucked guitar, but then there was a little bit of like, yeah.
And it was actually sound like a beautiful kind of like melody that was then getting warped, which painted this picture of like something beautiful that is trying to like reach through, but there's this barrier in the way. And then by the end of it, we had harp. And harp is like always such a beautiful way to signify like light and healing and safety, and like it's just such a beautiful instrument.
There was also the like a cappella melody, the using the voice as an instrument also, I think, made it feel more personal.
My voice is my instrument.
Sorry, reaffirming the voice as the instrument it already is. It just made it feel more personal, more real, more down to earth, which is kind of what that turn in the song was showing. We're getting towards the end of the album. We've only got 2 tracks left. The next one is called Pocket. A lot more acoustic guitar in this half of the album than
water?
the first.
Or rain?
I think so.
I need no one else. I'd like you for myself. You had thought of leaving. It's harder than I thought. I forgot to leave the pop. I pulled you through somehow. Keep you in my pocket for myself. The perfect secret I can't tell. I promise I can.
We're in the pocket. I love when we call back, not necessarily directly to a melody, but to like a melodic theme. The kind of reminded me a bit of
Yeah, all I ever asked, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one, as I mentioned at the end of the last track, we transitioned to a little bit of a cappella. Almost this entire track, aside from some guitar, and then I think maybe one other thing, was vocally driven. Some a cappella in the background. Very personal. Because I think in this one we're talking about, there is talk of love. I think it's all about the self.
You think she's singing to herself?
To either a different part of herself, a younger self that she still carries with her. I think it's kind of one of those.
Well, that makes me start to think how some of the other songs, her singing to herself and not a romantic partner.
The ones where I think it's definitely a romantic partner are where it's like very explicitly like, you know, him and like you're a prick and like that kind of stuff. Where it's a bit more hazy. There's probably one or two where I'm like, you know, it could be either or, but I think a lot of them have been about the self in the second half of the album, at least.
Here she is singing to herself. And because of that musical connection to All I Ever Asked, where that one was very much about her talking, like it was to a partner, and how that partner was just not reciprocating and it was very one direction. And here, like, we've gone through so much now that we're at almost at the end. What All I Ever Asked was what, the first third,
Yeah.
just before the first half of the album. And now that we've reached the end of the album, that we've realized a lot of things and we've learned a lot of things.
This is also another like development I feel like a lot of anxious attached people go through, where a lot of the expectation they place on the other person, you know, a lot of it is a matter of circumstance and like you needing a certain thing that just isn't able to be provided by a certain kind of person because of the way they are. But I think a lot of it is also, what are you expecting, and are your expectations in check? Because a lot of the time, folks can expect a lot, not because they need a lot from someone else, but because they're not giving themselves that. When a lot of it really should be provided by the self in terms of confidence, self-care, self-esteem, all of that. I wonder if this is something that Rachel's kind of touching on too. And I do like that we kind of went in the pocket at the end of the song. And that brings us to the final track of the album, So My Darling, parentheses, acoustic.
Remember, I always love you. La, 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 love you. Just know that whatever you do, watching me grow to be new. So my darling, you are my best friend. La, 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 la. The first day we met, it was you talking to miss that we went on our separate ways, but now we love in a different way. Some ways are you. Noise are turning gray. You are my best friend.
We were very specific in that song with our language, or Rachel was, which leads me to think that this is like very much solidly about another person, but maybe even the same person as some of the early tracks in the album. Because she mentions in this track, meeting very young. We talked and then it all blew, and then we reunited, and now this is the stronger love that we have. I wonder if some of those anecdotes about like, oh, you know, you were a prick, mixed messages, I was also kind of like not great and all of that. Maybe that was harkening back to experiences with the same person, where after we've gone through a little bit of a parting and a bit of a introspection and growth and focus on the self, it's kind of paved the way for the ability to have and maintain healthier relationships with others.
It definitely is like a really nice place to finish the album now that we have just heard What a Devastating Turn of Events
By Rachel Chinouriri.
Yes, Rachel Chinouriri. I don't even know if it was like necessarily like describing literal series and sequence of events, but rather sort of like maybe a reflection on experiences and the learnings from those experiences. It felt more like it was reflections on those introspections rather than storytelling specific episodes, really exploring the way that it really can hurt us. But then coming out of that, how things can actually be beautiful and like not all men are shit. Marcus, I think, is one of those men, it sounds like, provide an example that men can have a beautiful love and they're all not like what was being described earlier in the album. So to finish on such a beautiful ballad, like sonically, just like so gorgeous. I'm
Not
very
only-
curious though,
Yeah.
how like it's So My Darling brackets acoustic, which makes me think, is there a non-acoustic version? Like some full instrumentation?
If there is,
la.
I haven't heard it. I was gonna say I do like how we've got the acoustic chordage, but we've also got an acoustic. It sounds like an acoustic guitar being used for rhythm as well, like a thumb.
And then you
beat
put your
thing.
fingers over the thing so there's no
Yep.
note coming out of it.
So it's not only an acoustic guitar, doing chords. It's acoustic the whole way through. I don't know if there's a non-acoustic version. I mean, it does have like a very distinct melody, la 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 la, la, which could work in a non-acoustic song as well. It's interesting where we started quite macro. We started talking about the Garden of Eden, talking about youths, talking about looking at the teenagers vomiting in the shrubs and look at youth basically. Then we talk about the hills. We talk about the ever-present environment that these things take place in. And then we narrow in. And I think throughout, when we get to the end, we feel like we're one with the scene and the setting that's been it's been framed by Rachel. Like we're a part of it. We're not distant from it. We're not onlookers from the outside. We can observe it, but we can also be in it. And I think that's where the snippets kind of... they're scattered, but they come together in that way.
You were saying this is her second album?
It's her second long form piece of work. I think her first piece, I don't know if it was a full album, or if it was shorter. I haven't listened to it. So we love listening to music. We also
just
love
have to
when there's
go
engagement.
deeper into the discography. Do you know if she's touring? I mean, 2024, so she's probably done the tour for this album.
I think she has done that tour. It was...
I guess we just have to go to England then. Maybe she's doing local gig. Yeah.
She's probably doing stuff in the US as well. I haven't seen anything come up in terms of shows for her. I've got her saved on my Bands in Town. Well, thank you for joining us all the way through to the end. If you stuck through to the end, comment something strange so we know. Because not a lot of people do. We will see you on the next one. Toodaloo.